Hey guys, it's Allison from AllisonReeves.co, and I'm super excited for another interview today. Today I'm talking with Madi Dearson from MadiDearson.com, and she has another website as well that I'll let her introduce. But Madi has been a blogger for a long time, but she was getting kind of stuck in how to monetize and how to grow and how to really capitalize on all these skills that she had. And she has some really great advice for newcomers, for people who are wanting to learn how to income stack, for people who are wanting to learn how to use Pinterest to grow their business. She's had a lot of ups and downs and a lot of growth over the last year. So if you guys want to hear her story and how she got out of a rut and continues to grow her business and her income, then just keep watching. Welcome, Madi. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, it's my pleasure.
So I want to start off by just kind of maybe letting you introduce yourself and how you got started, and then I will have many questions for you and we can go from there. I've also got my eyes on the chat, so if anybody is watching, you guys have questions, just let us know and we'll make sure to include that in our conversation. So with that, Madi, I'll let you kind of tell us how you got started in entrepreneurship in general.
Oh, wow, that's a long story. To cut it short, I was full-time mom for, I think, 4 to 5 years. I had 3 under 3 at home, which was fun.
Wow.
And then I kind of missed my creativity. Before I had my babies, I was working in the corporate world, and I hated every second of it, and I knew I didn't want to come back to that. And I still wanted to stay home and be with my kids. So I was looking for ways to make money and still be creative in a way, which kind of led me into content creating. And I started working with a foundation that was actually an animal shelter for horses.
Oh.
And donkeys. I can't forget the donkeys. I created a website for them and kind of was taking care of all the contributions and stuff like that. And then I kind of expanded that a little bit into VA services, but I got bored with that really, really fast, and I just wanted to do my own thing. So I was looking for a way, and the blog started as a way to kind of present my writing skills and kind of like a place to put my work in. And then I started to think about monetizing it, but I had like a lot of different interests and I didn't know how to put it all together into something that was actually would make money. I wasn't interested in ads and stuff like that. It's not me, and I kind of wanted it to be something of my own and something where I could develop something, and that's how I found you.
I love it.
And that kind of led to kind of my breakthrough. I was working in real life with clients, and I started with content creation, and I kind of found myself working with small businesses and teaching them how to do it for themselves, which I did around where I lived, and I kind of wanted to expand that. And I like the online world. It's kind of like where I find myself. It's easy for me, and I studied coding before, so I was in the online world area for a long time before I actually started making money off it. So yeah, and that kind of again how I got to your program and finally developed my own thing online.
Yeah, I love that. So, and I remember that it's interesting because I think a lot of people run into this where they are actually really good at online business, but they're really good at helping other people with it. And I
Right.
think you were in a situation where you were helping other people even to utilize Pinterest to create their own blogs, to build their own businesses, but you were like, what, so what do I do? Like, how do I, and you had a really great looking blog and brand, but just didn't know like how to get to that next level. And so you joined the Monetization Accelerator program, which I think at the time might have been still, it might have been called a mastermind before I was like, that's not really a mastermind, it's kind of just a program. And so what were some of the, and you've been in it for a while, but you've kind of gone through a couple of phases. So talk to me about like, what were some of the things that you changed while you were going through the program as a student, really the first time?
I think the first and the biggest thing for me, and I just wrote about it today, was the mindset thing. Just like you said, I could do it for other people, but when it came to myself and kind of thinking about what I can bring to the table and stuff like that was really, really hard for me. And I think I just diagnosed myself today. I kind of had a fear of success where I would do something, I would be really good at it, and then I got bored with it. And kind of like backed away from stuff. So the mindset thing was huge for me, and that's something we worked on together. And that was a major thing. And once I got through that, I was kind of ready to finally make a decision. And I had an idea, and I actually did a beta trial on it, where I knew I wanted to kind of work with people and do a little coaching. And I love Pinterest, and I'm good at it. So I wanted to do that. And I didn't want to create another course. I just refused to think about sitting and creating another course because there's 1,000 of them out there, and a lot of people just don't get through them. And I knew that was something. I thought that was something that was missing out there, and we kind of worked on that again together. And it went through. I did a beta, and then I got some feedback, and I've changed a few things, and I launched, I think, my service about a month into the program.
She launched. She never launched. She never launched. She still hasn't launched.
I feel so bad.
She got clients. She started getting clients. I love that though.
I feel so bad because people in the program put so much energy into launching, and I'm like,
I love that. So a couple of things you said that I feel like are amazing, like so far. Like one of the things is a lot of people want to monetize their sites with like ads, and you're like, that's not what I want to do. I don't care if it can make me money, it's just not my vibe. And the other thing that you did, which I feel like is such a lesson of the program, but also a lesson for any entrepreneur, is you figured out like, what do I want to do? What am I good at? And what's really missing from the market? And so what you really wanted to do was coach other people. And what you really wanted to help them with was Pinterest. And what you knew was missing from the market was more high touch like Pinterest help. We don't need another Pinterest course. And then I love what you just said too about launching. Like I think it's really important to know, and I have a couple of businesses, right? So like one of them is very dependent on low energy launches, but the other one I don't launch at all. And when I do it very haphazardly. And I think that's a good message that you don't have to launch. You don't have to be dependent on launches for your income.
Yeah, especially, I mean, I'm at the point in my life when I like to do things that feel like me and not trying to force myself into sort of a square when I'm a circle or something. So I do what I feel comfortable with, and it's usually what works for me. When I force myself into things that are not me, it's not that I'm not stepping out of my comfort zone, because all of this is stepping out of my comfort zone for me. It's just that I try to stay authentic and I don't know, organic, whatever you call it, and do it my way, I guess. And it worked for me. I sort of just asked the questions, and then I had all these people volunteering for the beta, and then it started rolling from there, really. So I really never launched. That's true.
Yeah, I love it. And talk to us a little bit about, I know mindset has been really huge for you in several different ways, not just like one epiphany, but in many little things you've learned. Do you want to talk to us about any of the big major mindset lessons you have? And by the way, I'm taking some notes, which is why I keep typing and looking over here. So do you have anything you want to share as far as like the biggest lessons you've learned or mindset advice you have for people?
Yeah, I mean, when you're in the blogging world, you hear that word a lot. And when you're in the online business world, you hear that word a lot too. And I've done a lot of reading, and I've read the books and Millionaire Mindset and Success Mindset and all that. And I always thought, oh, cool, and it sounds like a good idea. But nothing ever like, I never had like a huge light bulb going on, because you have to do the work. You don't just decide that you're going to be successful in that. That's that. I had to create a routine for myself, and actually work on it. And I had to learn my own pattern, I guess, um, and kind of ebbs and flows, because we all have them. So I have like a system now where if I feel myself, because I lose, like I can tell you that on Wednesdays I lose my energy. I just like had a like a sharp draw. So I just I have a routine for that, and I meditate a lot, which is something that I started doing since working on the mindset. And I use that tool in many different ways. When I am feeling stressed, when I need energy, when I need to focus, I got very friendly with YouTube's focus system, which happens when your kids are at home all day. And yeah, so that was really really big for me, just knowing that you actually have to work on it. And the whole what do you call it, manifesting and abundance mindset and all that always used to sound so like, I don't know, for trees huggers, I guess. So it's like people who wear feathers in their hair,
Yeah.
which is really not, yeah, which is not really me, but it just works. So I had to kind of let go of my reservations and kind of go with the flow of it, and I just feel it, and it's kind of it does work when you work at it. That's I guess my point is.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's really important. I think that's a really huge lesson for anybody watching, that like you can read all the books, but until you come up with action to take, it's really hard to see that difference in your life. And that can be hard to come up with, like, what action do I take around mindset, which is why we have that mindset routine. It's like the very first thing. It's in all of my programs. No matter what you buy from me, we'll have that routine. And so tell us what you're doing now. So now that you figured some things out, you're growing your programs, you're hopefully making more money, which we haven't talked about specific numbers, but you're feel free to share them. So tell
Um,
us like how you're monetizing now.
well, now I mainly do coaching, which is, it's not exactly coaching. It's kind of very short term in a way. I get approached by a client, I audit their account, and I fix it myself, because one of the things I've learned is that if I send them the fixes, they just don't do it, surprisingly. So even when it's very detailed and even linked to stuff, they just don't do it. So, which I totally get. I have like 10 courses waiting for me to actually get to them at some point. So I do it myself. And then once the account is ready and kind of optimized, what I mainly do is optimize the account. That's my thing. I go through everything. I do Pinterest SEO, and I kind of focus their account, which is another word I use a lot. And once I'm done with that, we get together on a call, and I teach them everything they need to do, to know about Pinterest. And I get clients who have been around Pinterest for a while and just don't know how to. That the algorithm changed a lot, and people had some sharp drops and stuff like that. So I got people like this, and I get clients who know absolutely nothing about Pinterest, which is always interesting to see them kind of learn the system. And we go with that, and I do that call, and I teach them a strategy that they can use, like a way to systemize really how to be active on Pinterest so their accounts keep growing. And and then we do like 2 to 3 weeks later, if they need it. Some of them don't, and that's perfectly fine too. We do another call to see if we need to do some adjustments, and I'm always available to them by Messenger. And I keep track on, I'm obsessive a little bit about my clients, and I keep track of their accounts, and I can drop into a messenger anytime, and let them know, hey, you're doing this wrong. So yeah, and the algorithm does change a lot
Yeah.
lately. So I do that too. I keep them updated and stuff like that. So that's what I do with that. And I do some Pinterest management, but I do admit it's not my focus, because it takes a lot of time for me. I don't schedule, I do everything manually. so it's kind of time consuming. So I
Yeah.
miss that very, very much. And I am working on creating some passive income because my kids are kind of fed up by seeing me at the computer all the time. So I'm starting to think about something right now. And I have another website which is more about personal development, and over there I have like printables and stuff that I sell. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Awesome. And so do you want to talk about how your income has grown with, and you can get as specific or general as you want, but how has your income grown since before the
Well,
program
I
to where
wasn't
you are
making
now?
any of
Yeah.
that money before. So I don't know, how do you define that 100% growth? Yeah, it really is that, and it also depends on the amount of time I get in a month, because right now we're all at home again, so it's
Yeah.
kind of a little challenging. Um, but yeah, I'm right now. I'm kind of the service that I have is not very high ticket. I mean, it costs about $300. So that's that, and that's really cool for me because I can do that, and I get really nice money out of it.
Yeah.
But I do want to switch into something that is more high ticket coming up, and have a passive income on the side too. So there's a lot of goals for the next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully, 21 would be a little kinder to us, time-wise, because it was fine for me and my business. I don't know, but yeah, it's just a time issue right now for me. That's the biggest challenge I've had this year.
Yeah. Well, keep me updated on that. Bring those high ticket ideas to the call so we can use
That's,
social selling
that's
to sell
coming
them.
up. Yeah.
Cool. So what advice do you have for, or maybe what are some things you wish you'd known getting started slash advice that you have for brand new online entrepreneurs and bloggers?
I have a plan.
Have a plan.
I have a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just really, I had no, like, I started blogging as like, oh, I want to be creative and I want to express my creativity. And it started like, I just talked about this today with somebody. I just had this, my poor blog went through so much and so many different versions. And it
Yeah.
was on Wix when I started. So I just had like whatever, I had no plan and I had no business plan for sure. So I highly advise having that and having a focus, because I think this is huge right now in Pinterest and in with Google. When you're focused and you have kind of a vision for your blog and a message to it, and it's so much easier to grow with it. And I feel it with my other site that is much more focused and kind of stays on its own lane. It's easier to grow that, and I see that with clients too, which is always what I recommend to do too. So yeah, just really, really think about where you want to start and where you want to get, and then fill in the blanks in the middle, I guess.
Yeah, it seems like such simple advice, but it's so common, especially with bloggers, to start a blog and just think, I'll just land into something that goes viral or I'll just figure it out. But
Yeah,
yeah, going into it, the plan makes it so much easier. And now we're all starting these niche sites again, and we're like, oh,
yeah.
I'm going to start a blog about this, and I'm going to sell this one
Yeah,
thing, and it's
because when I started, there was this really anti-niche kind of movement in the
yeah,
blogging world. Like everybody did not want to niche down, and I didn't want to either, because I just wanted to write. So if you don't have a plan and you just write to write, then that's fine too. But if you plan on making money, I highly suggest you have kind of an idea of where you want to go with your content.
yeah, makes a huge difference. Awesome. So I just want to go over some of these awesome tips you've given us so far. I love that you kind of stumbled into blogging just based on what was going to fit into your schedule, what you were interested in, wanting to do more copywriting, but had a really hard time narrowing down your offers, even though you could help other people make money, but didn't really know what to sell yourself. So you joined the Monetization Accelerator program, and really, while you worked on what to sell, one of the biggest changes you experienced was creating a mindset around your routine. Also love what you said about having a fear of success, and the way that that manifested was kind of like getting bored with things or changing your mind or pulling back a little bit. One thing that I loved too that you talked about was your unique solution. So like taking what you're actually interested in doing and what you're interested in teaching, and then combining that with what's missing in the market. Like if you see 10,000 of one thing that's already doing the thing that it's supposed to do, like maybe that's not what you should create. Maybe we don't need another, productivity checklist printable. But really that high touch approach was what was missing, especially in the Pinterest world. There's very few like high touch approaches. So I love that you took that. What else? Oh, another thing you mentioned was how like using your authenticity to play into your strong suits. So you kind of alluded to that several times where like what's really worked for you is just continuing to do what feels authentic. And like if it's not something you're interested in doing, you're not going to do it. Like I don't want to launch, so I'm not going to launch. And that's really worked for you and continue to work. Mindset doesn't work unless you actually, what's that?
I'm a best student. I don't launch. I'm comfortable not launching, but yeah.
No, I think that's great. I love what you said about mindset and how like you can read all you want to, but until you find a way to take action on it, it's really hard to implement or see those changes. And your biggest advice for new bloggers is to have a plan. Is there any other advice you want to add?
Just kind of, I guess I said it before, stay in your lane, because the blogging world is so overwhelming. And if you ask a question, you will get 10,000 different answers that are two ends of the spectrum. So it's really hard to kind of know what to do. So I think you need to find one voice or two voices that are kind of similar and just go with that, because you can get so confused and overwhelmed. And if you start comparing what you do to what other people do, and I see that all the time, like even if you look at Pinterest, you see so many pins looking exactly the same because people think that's the way it should look, and the same posts over and over again. So just do you. I mean, and find advice. I'm all for advice, and if you find a coach, because if there's one lesson that I've learned is that courses are great, but they only get you so far, because most of us need accountability, and blogging is a solo profession to begin with, and having somebody to bounce ideas off and to have accountability, and somebody who will reflect that stuff at you, because we can see other people just fine, but we can't see ourselves the same way. So just don't let yourself get overwhelmed with. I see people asking this question all the time: which course do you recommend? Should I take both? Should I take one? And it's just don't. Do what feels right for you, and
Yeah.
find somebody who can really guide you. I would just go with that, and if I could tell that to any blogger, I would just find a coach that knows what he does, like Alison, and do that, because I would have saved myself a lot of time, frustrations, and money too, if I've done that like years ago. Yeah,
I love that. You know that I agree. Courses have their place for sure, but there's a lot of courses. A lot of people don't finish. A lot of people have a hard time finishing courses without a coach or without somebody to show them how to implement the course. And then the other thing you said that I feel like is important to affirm is that part of why the world of internet marketing is so confusing and overwhelming is because more than one thing can work. So that's why it's important to pick a strategy to commit to that feels aligned, that feels fun, and that you stick with, and then turn your ears off to everything else, get tunnel vision and focus and finish, because if there was just one right way to do everything, there would just be one internet guru for all time. So I love that advice, to just stick with someone who has the vibe that you have, tune things out, get someone to help you, and go from there. Well, this has been amazing, Madi. Is there anything else you want to add? I feel like you've said quite a lot.
No, I do talk a lot. No, I'm done. I'm going to be quiet right now.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. And Madi, where can we find you if people want to learn more about what you do? Is it MadiDearson.com?
MadiDearson.com. And my other one about kind of personal growth is themindfulgrowth.com.
Cool. I'm going to put those in the comments. Awesome. Yeah. If you guys want to get a hold of Madi, you can either comment, and I'm sure she'll be visiting back, and I can answer your questions too. But thank you again so much, Madi, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you.